So Luna is up about 1.2% today, despite Bitcoin currently red candle sticking down about 0.4% on Bitcoin, but Luna continues to be an absolute beast. And if I had a token for every time somebody asked me, what should I be doing with my Luna? Is it too late to enter Luna? Then I wouldn't need any Luna. But in this video, we're going to cover off the key levels for Luna. I'm going to let you know what my strategy would be if I hadn't got any Luna, and also what I'm doing with my current position on Luna. We're going to cover off all the key elements. We're going to look at some of the fundamentals as well. So sit back, hit up the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you like my perspective, don't forget to check out our course member live stream. Links in the description to head over to ijaz.uk/member, where we have 3 times weekly live streams with just me, and you can ask me questions on your portfolio, look at TA for certain coins, and a whole bunch more. But enough of that, because I want to look at this. And the lunatics have been driving the Luna price very, very high, and you can see now this has just been bucking the trend. It's been an absolute beast. The rest of the market has fallen in line with Bitcoin. It's expecting Bitcoin to say, look, Bitcoin, when you're down, we'll go down, right? And there's the odd exception every now and then, but Luna has just not had it. It's posted its higher low, gone and broke straight for its higher high at $100, and it continues to run here on the 4-hourly chart. We're currently sitting at $118. You can see that's the 1.272 Fibonacci line. And now the question arises, and this question I've been getting a lot in the Discord server, is what do we do about Luna? Because I always propose that you buy on pullbacks, you wait for retracements, you don't chase the green candles, you do not have green candle disease. But with a coin like Luna, which is just going from strength to strength, how do we enter? What do we do? What are the levels we need to be buying at? Because we don't want to chase the FOMO, because we could get called out if we get a retracement to the downside. But at the same time, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And this comes about every now and then with certain amazing projects. And in those moments, you need to have a very specific strategy, which I'm going to come on to. But first, what we need to do is look at the fundamentals. We can see Luna has continued to buy Bitcoin reserves. We heard Do Kwon's strategy around building out Bitcoin as the reserve currency from Luna. For Luna, it's a complete masterstroke. You can see they've gone from holdings just under 10k Bitcoin all these periods, and then suddenly March 2022, they start picking up the purchases, and you can see now they're sitting at 30,700 Bitcoins, which is a $1.4 billion. And there's still much more buying to do for Luna. We can also then head over to shout out Crypto Harry for this tweet. Really summarize it pretty nicely. Let's get zoomed in there. TERRA Luna stats since inception. So the supply has gone from 1 billion to 739 million. So it's fallen. The supply has fallen by 26%. Circulating supply has fallen by 27%. Liquid circulating supply has fallen by 59%. The UST supply has only just grown and grown, which obviously means you have to burn Luna. So in other words, like he says here, if you're not bullish, you don't like money, because Luna is a money-making machine. By how they've defined it in the algorithms, in the way it's structured in the tokenomics, it's just a pure beast. It goes up, you're doing well. It goes down, you're doing well. And then when you combine that with the staking you're seeing people do on Anchor Protocol, you can see why TERRA Luna is now number 2, sitting at 31 billion in total value locked. Now, of course, let me just move me out of the way. Up here, they're sitting here at 31 billion versus Ethereum's 131 billion. Now, the question obviously arises, like, Ethereum's still miles ahead, right? Yes, and it is. It's a 4x in terms of TVL that Luna needs to do to catch up with Ethereum. But who else can do it, right? You look at the next one, Binance Coin, 14 billion. Been pretty quiet. They're just there, centralized, fine, doing its thing. Avalanche, 11 billion. Now you're taking a massive drop down, right? Now that's more than a 10x to get to Ethereum's TVL. So a lot of work to be done by these other projects in order to get to that level. But TERRA, you can easily see TERRA really, if they did a double now to 60 billion, you're then half of Ethereum. So they're 2 doubles away to really keeping up with Ethereum in terms of total value locked. And then the other thing is you look at the total value locked metric here. Look at the market cap to total value locked. Ethereum's market cap is 3 times its total value locked. Luna's is only 1.3 times. In other words, if Luna had the same multiple to total value, market cap to total value multiple as Ethereum, Luna would be sitting at 3 times the size that it is now. Okay, so let's put that into context. Okay, that would be 3 times. You're talking about a $350 roughly Luna, just using those metrics now. Now, the other interesting thing is, this is not even the peak Ethereum price, right? We've seen Ethereum at a much higher price than this and commanding much higher multiples. And therefore, if you see Luna's at all-time highs and still at such a suppressed multiple. By the way, it's not just Ethereum. Look, Avalanche, even a smaller project, is commanding a higher market cap to TVL. The only project which is getting smashed worse is Phantom, which you guys know I've been speaking about for ages. This is criminal how Phantom is only 0.5 multiple of its market cap to TVL ratio, right? So when you're looking at that on Terra Luna, you're getting such a solid project that has been there, done that, got its protocols built out, 26 protocols built out on Terra Luna, some big projects in there. Amazing project, and you can see why people are chasing after it. Now, one thing obviously to look at on the kind of risk side is half of its TVL is tied into Anchor Protocol, and we know Anchor does a great job. People are commanding very good APYs on there, and it's no wonder there's $16 billion of TVL locked into Anchor Protocol. But it's not like the other projects are to be snubbed at, right? You've still got Lido sitting there at almost 10 billion market cap. That's almost the Avalanche TVL on its own, just in Lido. You've then got Astroport sitting at 1.73 billion in TVL, which is like half of Phantom, right? These are big projects, and eventually these are going to continue to grow. You can see Stader getting there, nearly crossing $1 billion in TVL. You've got Mirror Protocol getting there at 700 million. Okay, so you're seeing these start to grow, and you're really starting to see these projects take a life of their own and hold value on their own. And that is when you know an ecosystem is really ready to thrive. Okay, that is when you know, because what happens is that the protocols become the reason that people want to use your layer one. Because people want to use Anchor, they're forced to use Luna, right? And they're forced to burn. Because people want to use, Spooky Swap, they go and use Phantom. Because people want to use Astroport or Lido or Stader or Mirror Protocol, they will come and use Luna. And that is when a layer one blockchain really starts to come into its own. And I always use the example of using like an iPhone, right? Remember when you started using an iPhone, there were certain apps that people would go and get an iPhone just for that app because it wasn't on a Samsung phone or it wasn't on another device. Same with Mac versus Windows. When there were certain features you want to use, you'd go to that place. And it's the same for layer one blockchains. When a certain blockchain has the protocols and has the dApps, whether it's a gaming or NFTs, else that you want to use, you're going to go over there and use that. Just like people go to Ethereum for their Bored Ape Yacht Clubs or anything else, or the metaverse plays. That is why people go to Ethereum. Regardless of the congestion and the gas fees, they're still using it because that's where the platforms are, the protocols are that they want to use. So let's go back to the question. How do we start buying into Luna? It's all great. We know it's a great project. The tokenomics are good. Do Kwon is a beast, very charismatic, doing his thing, building the attention for Luna. Lunatics are doing great on social media, but we need to get in. And we look at this price point and we say, how? How do we get in? We're sitting at 117. I've been taught to buy on the pullbacks, not to chase green candles. When do I get it? Well, if you draw this trend line as the momentum line, you can see that the first obvious place to kind of look to set your buys would be at this level here at 100. Now, the problem with that is you may never see 100. Right? And so what I would want to do is start laddering my buys in now. Okay, so if I had $1,000 or let's say $10,000 to enter into Luna, and that's the right allocation for my portfolio, I've done the maths and I want to enter that into Luna, I'm going to start laddering those in. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm waiting for it 100. If it never gets there, then I'm never buying. I need to start nibbling. Wait for mini pullbacks on the 4-hourly candles, wait for small pullbacks, and start buying, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get a big retracement down to the downside. And you don't want that FOMO if this starts to really run towards $200. Remember, my golden ratio target sits at 140, but we're going to quickly have to revise that. Look how on Luna, we just smash through target after target. My first target was at 76, smash through that back in December. Next target was then set at 100, smash through that. Next target set at 140. Now we're working our way towards 140. We're getting to the 1272 line. Will we see some little bit of resistance? This is why it's interesting to see. Will we get a little bit of resistance at this Fibonacci level? And can we maybe get closer to the 100 level? Will it go to 110? Will it give you an opportunity at 107, 108? That's what I'll be looking for, and I'll be trying to ladder my buys in as opposed to waiting for the perfect pullback. You may never see this back at $50, right? You may never see this back below 100, but it's about waiting and seeing if we can accumulate on those levels. Now, if we look at the daily chart, actually, let's just go back to the Farley chart. I want to show you one more thing on the Farley chart. Bring out the EMA ribbon. This is a beautiful run to the upside here on Luna. You can see how it's keeping its EMA ribbon, it's staying above it, and it's using it to bounce successively to the upside. And this is what makes you suggest that in order to come down, there would have to be a severe retracement here on Luna, given its current momentum. You can see how parabolic this is now on the Farley chart. Can we get that? That's what we're looking for. Can we get that pullback into 107, 108 to do a little bit of nibbling? That's the question we're looking at here. Now, if we head over to the daily, what we want to see on the daily is, again, when you look at your EMA ribbon, let's bring that in. we've got a huge extension, right? It's very parabolic, it's very bullish, and we're quite far from our EMA ribbon. So that's what's giving me the clue that can it get a calling off just while the RSI is trying to call off? Just can we get a little calling off back down to that region? Maybe, like I said, we'll never get to 100. 100, you know, it's possible. Looking at it from a technical basis, that's the upward trend, the white line here. That's the upward trend. You've also got your EMA ribbon. So if it wanted to come and test its EMA ribbon, that would bring you to the 100 range. But just in case it doesn't, let's hold our plan. Let's say, okay, we'll start nibbling in between where we're at on the way down on the pullback. And that way, if it never gets to 100, at least we bought some, so we're not FOMOing on the next run to the upside. Okay, so this is the important part on here. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, just to wrap things up here on this Luna video, this is a crazy, crazy project. Let me just move this across. You have to excuse the messy charts, but this is just a huge move to the upside. Nice retracement as Bitcoin retraced, and then a mammoth run. I mean, if you look at this from the week beginning in February 21, big move to the upside, huge move to the upside. But the question is, when does it get a calling off? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 2 months in a row of green candles. Surely at some point you get a little bit of retracement, but just in case we don't, I've seen projects like this where it just keeps running, it keeps running, keeps running, and then what happens is you end up FOMOing and panicking 100% of your buy. You just throw your 10 grand in 150, and then it retraces down to 110, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? In order to avoid that FOMO and to manage your psychology, start nibbling. Start nibbling. If it's 10 grand you want to do, start nibbling at 500s or a grand and nibble. If it drops to 110, nibble. If it drops to 115, maybe have a smaller nibble, right? If it drops to 108, 107, have a larger nibble, and just correlate how big the nibbles are based on how pullback it is, okay? That's the key here on how to get into Luna. So there you go, guys. There is a blend of technicals and fundamentals on Luna. If you want to see more content around Luna, let me know in the comments. As always, smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you appreciate my perspectives. If you want to learn some more, then do consider jumping into our course member live streams. I'm going to be jumping onto that now after this video here. We're going to have a course member live stream. We're going to look at the questions that the course members have, go through some of their portfolios. If any of them want me to critique their portfolios, we'll do tokenomics on certain coins. We'll look at chart patterns and a whole lot more. So consider links in the description, heading to ijaz.uk/member. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.